Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Brahmanandam Paramasukharam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvani Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadguru Tam Namami Ramanandam Paramasukharam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvani Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadguru Tam Namami Sadguru Tam Namami Sadguru Tam Namami.
Good evening, everybody. So I'm going to read from Autobiography of the Yogi, a passage which I chose because none of us like to be criticized. We are all sensitive to that, more or less. And Yukteswar was quite different. He was quite tough. Even Yogananda had to let's say, overcome the test that you will find here in this passage. From transient teachers of my earlier life, I had imbibed a few erroneous lessons. 𝗕𝗟𝗓𝗓, I was told, need not concern himself strenuously over worldly duties. When I had neglected or carelessly performed my tasks, I was not chastised. Human nature finds such instruction very easy of assimilation. Under Master's unsparing rod, however, I soon recovered from the agreeable delusions of irresponsibility. Those who are too good for this world are adorning some other, Sri Yukteswar remarked. So long as you breathe the free air of earth, you are under obligation to render grateful service. He alone, who has fully mastered the breathless state, is freed from cosmic imperatives. I will not fail to let you know when you have attained the final perfection. My Guru could never be bribed, even by love. He showed no leniency to anyone who, like myself, willingly offered to be his disciple. Whether Master and I were surrounded by his students or by strangers, or were alone together, he always spoke plainly and upbraided sharply. No trifling lapse into shallowness or inconsistency escaped his rebuke. This flattering treatment was hard to endure, but my resolve was to allow Sri Yukteswar to iron out each of my psychological kinks. As he labored at this titanic transformation, I shook many times under the weight of his disciplinary hammer. If you don't like my words, you are at liberty to leave at any time, Master assured me. I want nothing from you but your own improvement. Stay only if you feel benefited. For every humbling blow, he dealt my vanity. For every tooth in my metaphorical jaw he knocked loose with stunning aim, I am grateful beyond any facility of expression. The hard core of human egotism is hardly to be dislodged, except rudely. With its departure, the divine finds at last an unobstructed channel. In vain it seeks to percolate through flinty hearts of selfishness. Sri Yukteswar's wisdom was so penetrating that, heedless of remarks, he often replied to one's unspoken observation. What a person imagines he hears and what the speaker has really implied may be poles apart, he said. Try to feel the thoughts behind the confusion of man's verbiage. But divine insight is painful to worldly ears. Master was not popular with superficial students. The wise, always few in number, deeply revered him. I dare say Sri Yukteswar would have been the most sought-after guru in India had his words not been so candid and so censorious. I am hard on those who come for my training, he admitted to me. That is my way. Take it or leave it. I will never compromise, but you will be much kinder to your disciples. That is your way. I try to purify only in the fires of severity, searing beyond the average toleration. The gentle approach of love is also transfiguring. The inflexible and the yielding methods are equally effective if applied with wisdom. You will go to foreign lands where blunt assaults on the ego are not appreciated. A teacher could not spread India's message in the West without an ample fund of accommodative patience and forbearance. I refuse to state the amount of truth I later came to find in Master's words.
Canto a pagina 22.
Now we chant together on page 22, if you have the booklet.
Canterò a te.
I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name.
Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te.
Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. Sri Yukteswar, 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 Sri Yukteswar. Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. A te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. Sri Yukteswar, 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 Sri Yukteswar. Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. A te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te. Canterò a te, però solo te, mi inebrierò amando te.
Here in Ananda, every year, we offer pilgrimages to India. When we go there, we usually visit Master's house, Yogananda's house. I think it was in 2004 or in 2005. Hare Krishna Ghosh was alive. He was the son of he was a relative of Yogananda, living relative, and he shared when the experience he had when Yogananda in 1936 visited India. Hare Krishna Ghosh was about 16 years old at the time, and he was with Yogananda every day for a long period, and he shared
ogni mese andava a casa sua, a casa del padre di Yogananda, sempre a trovarlo 𝗬𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗧𝗏.
And he shared that every month 𝗬𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗏 usually visited Yogananda's house when Yogananda was in America. So I asked Hare Krishna Ghosh to share something about 𝗬𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗏, and he said, he was the kindest person I ever met. When he came here to visit, he was exquisite. But, he said, as we heard from the reading from Autobiography of the Yogi, when you decided to become his disciple, then the situation changed. He was like a cosmic surgeon, a surgeon. He worked on your ego very sharply. Why that? He did that out of love, because he wanted to bring you to God in the fastest way. And of course, the main obstacle that separates us from God is our ego. So 𝗬𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗏 was this cosmic surgeon. Yogananda said he was a Jnana-avatar. It means a divine incarnation of wisdom. Jnana means wisdom. And you cannot attain wisdom, divine wisdom, in one life. You need many incarnations. In fact, I would like to share something about the previous incarnation of 𝗬𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗏. Master said that Master was William the Conqueror. So we're speaking about Europe, Normandy, in the year 1000. Have you ever heard about William the Conqueror? So that was Yogananda, and 𝗬𝗪𝗡𝗧𝗏 at the time was with him.
Lui si chiamava
His name was
Lanfranco Striutteswar
Lanfranc.
ed era nato
He was
a
born
Pavia,
in
vicino
Pavia, near Milan, so he was Italian.
Lui faceva parte di una famiglia facoltosa.
He was born in a rich family, family of lawyers, so a family linked to legal things. So people who used to study a lot, and he was very clever. He was an excellent student, but inwardly, Lanfranc had this incredible desire, spiritual desire, and he left Pavia looking for the divine, because he was, of course, a great soul at the time. So he traveled through Europe and visited Normandy. He opened a school there near Saint-Michel, and it was a school dedicated to literature. He spent a few years there. Then one day he was walking through the country all alone, and there he met some burglars. They took him, and there, of course, he was scared. Inwardly, he said, Yogananda shared this. Inwardly, he said, if I come out of this alive, I will become a monk. And that is what happened. He was saved, and he became a monk. And his spirituality grew incredibly. His mental clarity was incredible. So he became prior of Lebec, which is a very beautiful place in Normandy with an incredible big tower, about 30 meters high. And he was a Benedictine. So he belonged to the order of Saint Benedict. And William the Conqueror was the Duke of Normandy. He knew about Lanfranc, and he heard that Lanfranc criticized William the Conqueror, the king, because he knew, because William the Conqueror was married to Mathilde, who was a far relative of him. When William heard of this, that this Lanfranc was criticizing him, he ordered that Lanfranc was sent away from Normandy. And Lanfranc said, okay. He jumped on a horse, but the horse he chose was limping. Accidentally, Wilhelm and some other people met Lanfranc that slowly, with this limping horse, was leaving the country. So the people with Wilhelm started to pull his leg. Lanfranc stopped, and he replied to them. He said, well, if you want me to be faster, give me one of your horses, a healthy horse, so I can be faster in leaving the country. So Lanfranc started to, and then Wilhelm the Conqueror started to exchange words with Lanfranc. All of a sudden, Wilhelm was silent and said to all the other soldiers around him, "I never met such an incredible person with such a clarity of mind and strength." So he went to him and hugged him and told him, "You can remain in Normandy and you can become my spiritual guide." So 𝗟𝗪𝗡 remained in Normandy and became the spiritual guide of Yogananda, of William the Conqueror. So and these things I'm telling you are proved in history. Guru and disciple is an incredible bond. They always will recognize each other. In Autobiography, Yogananda says that when he met his Guru, he said, "This is not the first sun in which I meet and I bow at the feet of my Guru." In fact, Guru and disciple meet in many, many incarnations. And William the Conqueror and 𝗟𝗪𝗡 served together to bring Dharma in Europe. 𝗟𝗪𝗡 was very famous in Europe at the time because of his ability, his clarity of mind, his intelligence. And he was very famous in the whole Europe at the time. His wisdom was famous. That's why Yogananda called him later 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗓. Yogananda, being an avatar himself, he of course knew about the previous incarnations of himself and of his Guru. So 𝗟𝗪𝗡 was a very, very wise guide for Yogananda. And 𝗟𝗪𝗡 worked with the Duke of Normandy, with Yogananda, William the Conqueror, to change Europe. They did a lot of service, they balanced all the violence of the time with a great spirituality. They brought in incredible balance. In England, there are laws nowadays that were created by William the Conqueror, whom worked with 𝗟𝗪𝗡. And 𝗟𝗪𝗡 was a previous incarnation of Sri Yukteswar. Thank you, Ranjit. Good evening. Sri Yukteswar, as we heard, represented the first chakra, the element earth. In astrology, we call it Saturn. That is the one who gives us lessons. The first chakra is the ability to be steady without dispersing energies. And this is what Sri Yukteswar wants to teach us. One of his typical sentences was, "Learn to behave." He always said this to his disciples. We tell this to children, "Behave yourself." And then children maybe jump in a pond because they like it. But the meaning is, learn to behave. Means be awake and ready in finding always the right attitude in what you are doing. Be appropriate. And that is possible to do the right thing when your chakras are aligned, especially the first chakra. Then you can have a pure heart and a bright mind. And Sri Yukteswar opened his mouth only when his thoughts were pristine. And this is the teaching he offers us. Another element represented by Sri Yukteswar is the practice of ahimsa, non-violence, because the first chakra is very powerful, and it is the power of avoiding bad things, evil, ability to avoid evil. If you are in your center, you can do that, avoid evil. There is a beautiful story that comes from Prafulla. He's one of his disciples, and it is the meeting of Sri Yukteswar with the cobra, snake. So the cobra was moving close to the feet of Sri Yukteswar, and Sri Yukteswar was not scared. The snake simply went away. And Prafulla was astonished looking at that. Then he understood that Sri Yukteswar didn't have in his mind any kind of fear. And the idea of harming others, so that is the power of non-violence, the same power St. Francis developed. So the power of neutralizing violence, if it comes from a beast or from a human being. Do you remember the famous lesson about the cauliflower? It's a very basic lesson. If you leave home, lock the door. And Yogananda, if you remember, hid beautiful cauliflowers under his bed. Then he left the ashram without locking the door. To help him learn this lesson, Sri Yukteswar put the thought in a person, in a thief that was around, to go in the ashram to steal the cauliflowers. So the lesson there is, be in your center, be in steadiness, be rooted, and you learn to live in good. That's why Yogananda called Sri Yukteswar the Lion of Bengala. He had an incredible spiritual power, great morality, great clarity. Why Lion of Bengal? Because one of the ashram of Sri Yukteswar was in Puri, which faces the Bengal Gulf. As a community, we went there. In last February, we went there, and we often go there every year. It is a beautiful ashram. It is also the ashram where the body of Sri Yukteswar was buried. And in the first photo, you can see a mandir, a space where the body of Sri Yukteswar was laid in the lotus pose. In February, we went there, 40 pilgrims. We went there to celebrate Sri Yukteswar. In the first morning, we meditated a lot, and after a while, they opened the door, and we were able to enter this mandir and breathe the power of Sri Yukteswar. The day after, the door was closed again, and after hours of meditation and silence, again they opened the gate. And the third day, they gave us the keys, because they understood that we are devotees of this Master. So in this pilgrimage, and I'm sharing this because just to show you the practicality of Sri Yukteswar. When Yogananda visited India in 1936, everybody wanted to cook for him, and Yogananda became very fat in a few weeks. Usually he slept with Tulsi Bose in the same bed. They were close friends. But of course it was not possible because it was not possible any longer because Yogananda became so fat. So Sri Yukteswar, who knew that, simply sent from Serampore a new bed for Yogananda, so as he could sleep comfortably. And when you visit that house, you can sit on that bed and meditate. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what power comes from the bed of Master? So Sri Yukteswar often visited Yogananda's house. So that house is very full of spiritual power, the house in Kolkata. I would like also to share a part of our pilgrimage, because for me, Sri Yukteswar is a father, a wise father, a father to whom I can trust. And you can see it a very simple discipline. Try to behave, try to remain in your center, live in that space in which you can feel attunement, guidance, where you feel you are moving toward the right direction. So, in Varanasi, we were in Varanasi, a city, a holy city full of special holy places, the ashram of Ananda Moima and many others. And then there is the house of Sri Yukteswar's mother. And with a group of friends, we wanted to visit it. We didn't know exactly where it was. So we started walking on a ghat in Varanasi, and following some directions, we found the house of Sri Yukteswar's mother. And we found out it is a hotel now. So we entered this hotel and we asked, can we go on the balcony to meditate? And the person in the hall said, yes. More people came this morning with the same request. So it's not very common, but yes, you can go. So we went on that balcony, very beautiful place on the Ganges. And we were aware that the story of Yogananda started there. Sri Yukteswar's mother used to live there. Yogananda and Sri Yukteswar met in that area. And for me to be there, in that place, out of time, was like going to visit my grandmother. I'm home. I felt I was home. I recognized the vibrations and I felt nourished. And when I had to leave that city, I said goodbye from that point, from that balcony on the Ganges. I think it is the memory which I treasure most. Thank you. Good evening. From Autobiography of a Yogi. The first meeting in this life between Yogananda and his guru Sri Yukteswar. Gurudeva, the divine face, was none other than he of my 1,000 visions. These halcyon eyes, in leonine head, with pointed beard and flowing locks, had oft peered through gloom of my nocturnal reveries, holding a promise I had not fully understood. O my own, you have come to me. My guru uttered the words again and again in Bengali, his voice tremulous with joy. How many years I have waited for you. We entered a oneness of silence. Words seemed the rankest superfluities. Eloquence flowed in soundless chant from heart of master to disciple. With an antenna of irrefragable insight, I sensed that my guru knew God and would lead me to him. The obscuration of this life disappeared in a fragile dawn of prenatal memories. Dramatic time, past, present, and future are its cycling scenes. This was not the first sun to find me at these holy feet. My hand in his, my guru led me to his temporary residence in the Rana Mahal section of the city. His athletic figure moved with firm tread, tall, erect. About 55 at this time, he was active and vigorous as a young man. His dark eyes were large, beautiful, with plumbless wisdom. Slightly curly hair softened a face of striking power. Strength mingled subtly with gentleness. As we made our way to the stone balcony of a house overlooking the Ganges, he said affectionately, "I will give you my hermitages and all I possess. Sir, I come for wisdom and God contact. Those are your treasure troves I'm after." The swift Indian twilight had dropped its half curtain before my master spoke again. His eyes held unfathomable tenderness. "I give you my unconditional love." I give you my unconditional love. Precious words. A quarter century elapsed before I had an outer, auricular proof of his love. His lips were strange to ardor. Silence became his oceanic heart. "Will you give me the same unconditional love?" He gazed at me with a childlike trust. "I will love you eternally, Gurudeva." Now we are at the last part of our evening. Sri Yukteswar is a master who offers us incredible teachings. Personally, to me, they are very practical. When you came in the temple, we gave you a flower, and we suggest you to join this ceremony where we take a few seconds to see if we want to offer a practical commitment for our spiritual life or our devotion to God or to Master or the person who represents the divine in your life. So we will offer the flower to the altar with this part turned toward the audience. And I ask you to close your eyes for a few seconds and try to feel what you would like to offer to Sri Yukteswar. Is there a spiritual commitment? Or if you feel your heart full of devotion for this Master who gave us so much? And then we can offer our flower with all our devotion, love.
Shaming the white lotus impurity.
pensa nel tuo cuore ai sacri piedi del tuo Guru. Pensa nel tuo cuore ai sacri piedi del tuo Guru. Se vuoi attraversare l'oceano dell'illusione, se vuoi attraversare l'oceano dell'illusione, più puro dell'otto bianco, più puro dell'otto bianco, oltre la dualità. Guru luce di Brahma, liberaci dall'illusione. Guru luce di Brahma, liberaci dall'illusione. Guru luce di Brahma, liberaci dall'illusione. Guru luce di Brahma, liberaci Let's close our eyes for a moment. We want to bring deep within the blessings of this evening, the consciousness of the Masters that was with us, and we want to bring this energy in every cell of our body, in the body, in the mind, and in our soul. Let's end our evening with a prayer. I ask you to stand up and to pray with me. Please repeat after me. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend Beloved God, Great Masters of Kriya Yoga, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahasaya, Swamis Yukteswar, Beloved Gurudeva, Paramhansa Yogananda, saints and sages of all ages, we bow at your feet in humbleness and devotion. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your blessings, for your energy, for your consciousness. We want to be always full of these gifts you are offering us. And in order to do that, we would like to share with the whole world what you offered us. So let's chant now Om 3 times. Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your beautiful energy. You can stay and meditate if you wish. For a few minutes we will have to clear the area. I kindly ask you to help us to take the chairs outside. Tomorrow morning we have a sadhana here, long or short. And maybe tomorrow at the end of meditation you can take one flower from the altar. They will be so blessed tonight, being on the altar the whole night, so you can bring them home. And thank you to our friends that watched from home.